How I prep my embroidery projects without a light box is I just use a window and I tape my pattern to it, and then I take my fabric and tape it over the top and just make sure that it's smooth against the window, and then you can see right through the fabric to the design. And I like to use this friction pen, and the reason is because with heat then it erases, so you can do your project and then whatever stitching is not covered by, or whatever writing is not covered by your stitches, you can remove just with a hot iron. So I'm just going to go along and I'm going to draw this outer line for the heart is very thick, so I'm just going on the inner portion of that line and drawing all the way around. And then since these lines are all straight, I'm just going to use a ruler to help guide me, and it will be a little quicker and a straighter line if I do it that way. So I'll just move along and fill in all the lines. So here's our design all traced onto the fabric, and I just wanted to show you how this friction pen works here with this little scrap. So I'm just going to just scribble on it, and then just with the heat of an iron it just disappears like that. So it's perfect for embroidery. You can use it to see your lines, and then when you're done just run an iron over it. If you want to, you can even run it along the back so you don't press down your stitching. But this is the final project, what we're making today. And when I originally made this, I used a pencil, which I've often done with embroidery, and it works great, except for when you're doing something like the running stitch. And I don't know if you can see, but since there's some fabric that's exposed between the stitches, you can still faintly see the line. And it doesn't bother me too bad, but I wouldn't give it away to anybody with that. It's fine for just at my house or whatever, but just if you want perfection, then I would go with the friction pen. So after you've got your embroidery pattern traced onto your fabric, you're just going to insert it into the hoop, and this hoop is a 10-inch hoop. And you're just going to basically, I just eyeball it and just try to get the heart in the center. And then just tighten up the little clasp there, and then just pull out any fabric just so it's taut. So I just kind of go along the edges and kind of pull. And I'll kind of do that as I'm stitching too. You can see right here on this center line that I didn't quite get it lined up when I was doing it. And that's another great thing about the friction pen, is because I'm just going to follow this heavier line that actually goes to the point when I do my stitching, and then when I'm done, then we'll just use a hot iron and that other marking will be completely gone. So one thing I like to do with an embroidery project is to pre-thread some needles with the string, the colors that I'm going to be using. So we'll do that here with our last set. We have this skein, and do you see how one side has this longer wrapper than the other? That side is the side you want to pull from, because if you pull from that side, then it's not going to get tangled. So I always pull once and pull twice, and then that gives me the perfect length to work with. It's not too long and doesn't get tangled, but it's long enough that you don't have to replace it constantly. So we'll just thread this needle with that color, and I found with using 6 strands, it gives a really bold look to the stitches. So for this project, we're going to use all 6 strands of the thread. And if you just do a single knot, that's enough for this for 6 strands. If you use something smaller, you might need to double up that knot, but for all 6 strands, just do a knot. And then I've got all my colors here ready to go, and I can start stitching. Just grab the color I need after I use it, and there's plenty left for the next line. I'll just re-knot the end so it's ready for when I want to use that color again.